welcome back to another movie of the week, and the movie this week was Tangled from 2010. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. If this is your first time at movie of the week, what we do is we talk about a movie here. You guys comment below your thoughts. At the end of every video, I say the movie for next week so you can follow along. Tangled. So we have done a few kids movies, and I'm not a huge kids movies fan, but I think it's important to do kids movies and talk about it and talk about every single genre. So here we are. But this is a kids movie that I think might be like top 5 kids movies for me. I really love. So I think this is the 3rd or 4th kids movie we've done, but this is the 2nd animated movie we've done, and we've done Up, and I really liked Up. But I really love Tangled, and I still really love Tangled now. And I think obviously like I also have new perspectives on it that doesn't necessarily like make me dislike it more. I think it actually makes me like it more. So Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi killed it. And I don't know how much like Rapunzel movies are out there, but technically this is about Rapunzel, the princess. And I don't know if she really had too much of a story. I can't remember. I was like 9 or 10 when this came out. But obviously a lot of kids movies, there has to be some backstories, something that sets it up. And I think, okay, I'm trying to figure out like what point do I start with, because it's going to be going all over the place. I guess I could really talk about how like the songs, like all the songs were really great. I can talk about that, and I can talk about how the artists, or I don't know what they're called, the people who like literally draw the show out, not the show, the movie out. Those people, they put so much attention to detail into it. I've like seen things online of like, look at all this detail in this movie. Also, the glowing lanterns are so beautiful. Like, I would love to see that in person too. So something I guess I didn't really recognize as much before. I always talk about how often I've watched the movie, and I guess I've watched this movie probably like maybe like a few times in my life, but obviously it's been a while. So a new perspective I realized is like, yeah, like the mother wants to keep her safe in this tower because she wants the hair to herself. She wants the healing power all to herself. But it also has this other perspective to it about like keeping your child in their home, especially your daughter, keeping your daughter, like keeping them innocent, like not letting them do anything, not letting them have a life, trying to like keep them in, because you're so afraid of like everyone else. You're so afraid of like what she could do or what she could become, that you force her to like resent you and hate you and not be their full self and be really sad. And I think that's something that we still have in the society about, you know, it's a lot of things about like how people raise their kids. A lot of times I feel this way, that mothers really raise their daughters and maybe their sons, and then it's kind of crazy because then they like give more privileges for the sons and the daughters and like treat them differently about like curfews or like what they're able to do and like consequences and everything. And so it just kind of like, I feel like that perspective is still now today, where it's like, yeah, that you see those crazy stories about like families that like lock up their daughters and like never let them out, and like those are real things. So just that's another perspective to bring into this. And I know it's also kind of like this, I guess, this other idea of like, you know, young and beauty, and like taking advantage of like a young girl's beauty. And like obviously it was like older woman, so it was a little bit different, but kind of like that element. I don't know if that makes sense. But as a lot of kids movies, they're really, really well written because people like really plan it out and everything. I think also what I really liked about this movie is because I feel like in a lot of movies, especially princess movies, there's always like someone that, you know, is a king who, or not a king necessarily, especially not in this one, she was the princess, but there is someone that, a love interest, a man who like saves her, or she like needs to be in a relationship to be saved. That's like one of my things I hated about the first Wonder Woman movie, is that her love for that guy gave her the power to defeat the person, whatever she was fighting. Just because of her love for a guy, that gave her the power. So I'm always very critical about what these movies show and like everything, but it's like something where it's like I'm also a hopeless romantic, so like I love love, but like I hate when it's like the idea of love is like what is supposed to save you. And what I think I really like about this movie is that she didn't necessarily like need to be in love or like find love. Like even when she like was locked up in the tower, like her desire was to just see these beautiful lanterns. Like her desire wasn't necessarily to find a man. Maybe there was like one line about it, I honestly don't remember because it wasn't that important. And I think it's just something where it's like it just like happened and it was beautiful and it just like meant to be, but it was like something where like in the end that's not what saved her. He didn't save her. Like she was strong herself. Like she so it's so it's just like it just, and it felt like them falling in love was actually real and like you could see it too, the way they felt for each other. So I felt like that was good too, because I love when it's like not forced and it's like, well, how did they get to A to B? Like you actually see it and everything. I also feel like a lot of times you see, you know, men as the savior and powerful and everything, but she was the one with the power. She was the savior. She had her glowing hair, had magical powers. So she was the one saving him. She was the one who was able to get them from being drowning because of her hair. She was the one who was powerful. I really liked that, and it wasn't like too forced too. It just like made sense, and it's like a lot of things where like I never even realized this beforehand how powerful she was, because you have to really look at it critically, but like it leaves an effect on you. Like that's the kind of thing with movies sometimes, like even if you're not as critical or like really dive into like different elements to it, like even if you don't realize it on the surface, like it hits you and it like still drives you in your perspectives. And movies teach us things and sometimes we don't realize what we're learning, but they still make us do things, and that's why movies are so important. Also, of course, her hair glows when she sings. That is such a Disney Channel thing. That's like such a kids movie thing to, oh, her only when she sings. Like what? But yeah, the scene when the lanterns and everything was so beautiful. And they're like the whole chase scenes and stuff were like, and the fighting scenes are actually like really crazy intense, and I didn't remember how intense it is. And actually the last scene in the end with the tower, like actually I remember it like being a little bit scary, and it kind of is a little bit scary because like the mom is kind of scary. Like she's a scary person, and they obviously hold back at that because it is, I think, PG and a good kids movie, but she is kind of scary. And then like everyone else, and I've always felt this way, like he didn't have to cut her hair that short. He could kept it a little bit longer. It was so short. But in the end, like I kind of cried, I think, because like she's with her family again, and her parents, her real parents, like all they wanted was like a safe and healthy baby, and like to find their child again, and like never gave up hope. And 18 years later they were like with their daughter again. It's actually really beautiful. So I am very critical of kids movies, and there's only a few that I think I would show my future kids, but this is one of them. I really like it, and I think it's really important, and I think it's actually like underrated, and people should really understand and learn from it more. Anyway, those are my thoughts and feelings about Tangled. So comment below your thoughts, and then the movie for next week is City Lights from 1931. So comment about Tangled below and watch City Lights for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.